Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze.
Hello, you're watching TRANSBRATIONS. I'm Nishan Dion. Tonight's guest is Cortlyn CoCo Bridges, a Pasadena native. She is an author, founder, and advocate. Despite the heartbreak of losing her daughter Ky in December of 2020, Cortlyn founded the Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation, dedicated to supporting families affected by gun violence. With an unwavering commitment to ending gun violence in Black and Brown communities, she remains a strong advocate. Cortlyn draws strength from her faith, family, and friends, finding solace in their support during her healing journey. Her life revolves around being a mother to Ky Thomas and Kamryn Saltus, and a nana to Kylee and King, the cherished grandchildren of her late daughter Ky. Cortlyn draws strength from her unwavering faith, close-knit family, and supportive friends, finding solace in the power of forgiveness. Over the past few years, you've become a victim advocate and created the Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation with the slogan.
Which one? I have a lot of them.
I'm familiar with
the mama bear one.
How many do you have?
Well, I when it comes to my kids, I don't play, so I don't know which one you're talking about.
Isn't the official slogan keeping away from trauma?
Oh, keeping away trauma?
Keeping trauma away?
No, it's keeping away trauma. So it's the Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation, keeping away trauma. I thought you were just referring to the mama bear when I talk about when they come from our kids, that's when the mama bear comes out. Mama bear don't play.
Yeah, I came for one of my relatives' moms, and the relative told me, don't you come for my mama. And I never came for her mama, but I had a reason to that I won't get into.
But no, yeah, so no.
You know not to come for nobody's mama.
That's right. They mama or they kids. Don't come for my kids, because baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, so
keeping trauma away.
Keeping away trauma.
Keeping away trauma. I don't know how I got that backwards. Keeping away trauma.
And keeping away trauma, though what that actually is, those are Ky's initials. K-A-T.
I didn't even realize that.
And how that name came about, right after Ky was killed, I'm working, actually volunteering at a facility for people who were in crisis, and two young ladies. I was working with them and, just sitting there with them, talking to them and letting them know, like, you think that just because I'm here with you, that I have everything together. Don't always judge a book by its cover. And, they said, well, what do you mean? I said, your life's not as bad as you think it is. I said, you think I have it all together. I said, but I'm sitting here with you and you guys don't even know what I'm dealing with. And they asked me, and I said, well, my daughter was just killed. And they just was like, and they asked me, they said, well, why do you have that notebook? I said, because I'm trying to start a nonprofit and I'm trying to figure out a name. And I said, I'm trying to use her initials. And they was like, we want to help you. And that's where the name came from. And we fiddled around with all kind of stuff. And they helped me with the keeping away trauma. And that's where it came from. So
I hadn't even thought to ask you that question. Like, that's great. Like that this is platinum. That is really great. Wow. Keeping away trauma. Yeah, I mean, people, you want to keep away and stay away from trauma. Keeping away from trauma. Okay.
And you know what? When I came up with the name, I had somebody real close to me. They was like, "Well, I don't think you want that name. You can't keep away trauma." It's not that I'm trying to keep away trauma, but you got to look at it like this. Instead of me saying, okay, I can keep it away. You got to reverse it. Think about this. What are things that we can do to try to work on helping people maintain it and try to just see how we can, people when they're getting ready to get into it, you got to nip it and try to get the kids when they're young. You can't, no, we can't, of course we can't stop it. Trauma, everybody deals with trauma.
The kids when they're most impressionable.
Yes. So if we're getting these kids when they're young, that way the gangs can't get to them. That way these young girls, when they're not getting what they want from their daddies. You know, so yeah, we can, to a certain extent, we can try to keep it away. We can try to help, you know, avoid it some. You know, and then think about in the Bible, and I just try to use all these different things, and that's where it was. But no, I can't keep it away, but we can do things to try to work around it and bring it together.
Conflict
Trauma,
resolution.
yes, trauma is always there's gonna be some type of trauma somewhere. But
Inevitable.
we gotta do something. And
We
I'm
don't
like,
need to add fire to it.
yes. And so I'm like, you know what? What better way? Okay. And you get people talking. Okay. Keeping away trauma. Well, you can't keep it away. Okay. So it's also a way to get people talking. But you can't keep it away, Cortlyn. Okay. Well then, okay, let's find a solution. We're gonna find a solution. What can we do then? Let's sit down and let's talk about it. What can we do? I can't keep it away. So you know what? It's not just my foundation. This foundation is for everybody. So we're gonna sit down and we're gonna do it as a coalition. And we're gonna sit here and we're gonna come together. What do you have to bring to the table? Tell me what is your version of how to help somebody and try to prevent something.
Actually, after it had happened, you had went to this crisis organization.
Yep.
And
Because I was trying to help. That was my way of trying to escape what I was dealing with. So I'm in return trying to help somebody.
You weren't getting help.
No. I would call myself trying to help people after she was killed. Didn't want to just sit still.
Right.
And so I'm trying to give back.
That quick?
Yes, that quick. These were people suffering from mental illness.
Wow. Where did you get the strength to do that?
God. And where I went, these were people with money. Their families paid money for them to be there. So that's what I did. And I went to go and try to help them.
And ended up getting the name for your organization.
And I stay in touch with them all the time, and they're doing amazing. These ladies are doing amazing. They worked through what they were dealing with.
They did.
They did.
That is good to hear. When did you create the foundation?
And so originally it was a LLC, and that was in September of 2021. And then August of last year, I became an official nonprofit.
And what is your mission, Cortlyn?
Our mission is to be able to help families that have been impacted by violence, any type of violence, in our community. So what we want to do is be able to help offer supportive services, whether that's through support groups, whether that's through mentoring. That could be also helping with court accompaniments. We also would like to be able to offer scholarships for families with children being able to go to private school. Currently, right now, we just was able to, it's a private school my granddaughter actually goes to, and I'm actually currently working with them right now to be able to offer scholarships. And families, for me, our Black and Brown community, we think it's impossible. And to me, I'm really big on education. And so I think that mental health is something that's important as well. And so I think if kids are in a smaller setting and they get that one-on-one with a school that knows how children have been impacted by violence, especially if there's staff members there that know about that, I think it's very important. And so just trying to offer those type of services. With that, also, having people who are trained that are on my board. We want to be able to offer domestic violence advocacy, helping them maneuver that process as well, being able to connect them to different organizations, not only that, homeless advocacy services as well. So being able to do the linkages with resources, being that I work in the homeless service sector, knowing how to, I do, So knowing how to maneuver through the coordinated entry system as well, getting them connected through that. When families have been impacted by violence, I think that is very important that they know that they're not alone. And so I would say my 3 core values are faith, family, and friends. When I say faith, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about relationship. And that's something that's very important because where I'm at, somebody else isn't there. And your faith doesn't necessarily, you can believe in, and people may say she's crazy, but whatever you believe in, that's whatever you believe in. A person could believe in a tree, but if you think that tree, and I'm just using that as a, but I tell that to people and I'm being honest, because when your loved one, and I'm gonna be totally honest, nobody wants to hear about God when your child was killed because you feel like God has let you down. And so I use that analogy about a tree or anything other than God, because when you run across somebody in my shoes, you don't want to hear about God because you feel like he's forsaken you. So that's why I say, when I say faith, I'm not talking about religion. I'm saying relationship. So wherever your relationship is, whoever it is, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So wherever your faith is, you got to believe in something. You got to draw near to something, and you got to be able to stand firm. And that's what we believe in. The Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation, we want you to be able to have your feet planted on solid ground and be able to say, you know what? I gotta be able to get up. And even if just getting up, brushing your teeth, because when you've experienced trauma and impacted by any type of, and I get emotional because you don't know what somebody else has dealt with when you're on the other side of this, whatever it could be. It takes a lot to get out of bed. It takes a lot to do anything. Sometimes people don't even want to brush their teeth. People don't want to bathe when you've been impacted by violence, when you've been violated. So I'm saying this because if you have faith in something, even if you believe in yourself, saying, you know what, self, I got to get up and I got to do this for me.
There you have it. That's right.
And then your family. If you don't have nobody that you can lean on to help get you through. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for my family, man, I got a hell of a support system. And then friends,
Is it dozens of you guys out there, Cortlyn, your family?
I have a big family. I have family out of state. When my daughter was killed, I had cousins that we hadn't even talked. And when I tell you, my family, we may not talk, but let me tell you something. My family has been 10 toes down. When I say 10 toes down, 10 toes down to this day. They helped me with my granddaughter. Oh my God. I have an amazing family. I have friends that we have been friends forever. And what I will tell you is, some of them so-called friends, nope, they walked away. But when I tell you God blessed me, I don't mean to cut you off, with a new bunch of friends, or I call sisterhood and brothers. These are people I didn't even know. But when I tell you, it feels like I've known them forever. These are mothers whose children lives were taken. These are people in the community that just drew to me. Even just like, you would think I've known them forever. They love on me more than people that have known me forever. And that's what I'm talking about, the faith, family, and friends. Those are my 3 core values, and I'm blessed.
Going back to, you said faith, family, and friends, right? You said you were brought up in the church, right?
Here and there. I mean, yes.
Your family was rooted in the church.
No. So my parents, my mother, no, she was church hurt. So no, I myself, I've always had a relationship with God. So my mother never made me go to church, but my grandparents, like they did. I got in the church on my own. So that was something, I stayed in church on my own.
So I was wondering how much of that has influenced you and impacted the foundation's core, values and mission and all of that.
It had, so for me, my faith and my foundation, it's impacted me because, number one, and I'm gonna be totally transparent. When my kids were little girls, and I'm gonna tell you why, how it's impacted my foundation. I would take my kids to school every morning, and we would get in the car and we would pray. My kids would be embarrassed when they friends got in the car and I would give them rides, because I would make them pray too. I didn't give a damn who was in that car. We was praying on the way to school.
You was just as mean as my mama, making them pray.
But let me tell you something. I needed my kids to be covered, because you know why? Look at all these school shootings. Look at all the bullying and different stuff. Even though I know we have a day to come here and a day to leave. However, I wanted my kids to know about that foundation. And Ky had a foundation. Her daughter had a foundation. And one thing that I've learned, and I'm going to tell you why. In this whole thing with my foundation, forgiveness has been something that I've been big on. And I want people to know that sickness internally, if we hold on to bitterness and hatred and all of that, where you think all that sickness comes from?
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about from, and even not even not even saying like trying to be because I'm not no holy roller, but I'm just saying, when you hold on to all that hatred and bitterness, where you think all that sickness and stuff comes from holding on to all that stuff that you can't even control. So I had to say, you know what, I gotta let go. So if I'm able to say, you know what, I forgive, and let me, you know what, my faith got me through this. And so, yes, my faith has been a big part of my foundation, and me saying, you know what, I have to tell people that it ain't about religion, it's about relationship. Have a relationship with God. And I want people to know that you got to forgive, you got to have peace. If nothing else, I know where my daughter is. And if I want to see her, and if you want to see your loved one, you got to make peace. You got to make peace. And I'm not pushing no religion or nothing, because I know different religions, they say different things. But I know for me in my house, I know I'm going to see Ky again, because I know I made peace. And that's how I have so much peace, is because I know where she's at. And it's because my faith helps me push through, because I know on the other side of this, I can honestly say that, you know what? Better days are ahead. And my faith just keeps me going. It's like, you know what? Okay, I got to push through. I got to push through. And you got to show kindness. And it's nothing but God that's helped me be able to get my foundation off the ground, that's able to help me do everything that I can do, even in this being able to start my foundation, being able to get up and go. You know, he's been the driving force behind everything that I do. You know, I've experienced so much, and to have a child taken, and to want to be able to help other people, that's nothing but him.
You said you created an LLC first, and then you went into a nonprofit. How has the community responded to the foundation? Accessing services and supporting.
I've gotten support here lately from Councilman Tyrone Hampton and the Flint Ridge Foundation. It's been really amazing. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. It's been a blessing to have it, to have their support, and to have them behind me. Just This is all I can say, is it's been amazing. You know, a lot of people, it's hard. You know, it's hard to get people to support and get behind you. But again, if I can just help one person, then I know I've made a difference.
Yeah.
And I do get text messages and calls, and so I'm grateful.
Yeah. People, they want to know, what are the numbers? What are the numbers? What are the numbers? I tell people with my YouTube show, if one person is watching, if ain't nobody watching, I'm still okay, because I'm doing this for me. Like, really.
That's right.
If you enjoy it, you enjoy it, but this is for me,
That's right.
But we're caught up in this world of numbers and likes and and like you just said, if you impacted one person, one person heard your message, your mission, or felt some kind of way, if somebody was moved in any kind of way not to pick up a gun, to hurt themselves or to hurt, someone else, you made an impact. It's not always in dollars and cents and in numbers, but we know we live in a world where, all that matters in different times and different, ways and things. As a grandmother, Cortlyn Bridges is determined to create a safer world for future generations, ensuring that no family has to endure the pain she's experienced.
Yes. And I just I wouldn't want any mother, any sibling, most of all, my granddaughter. She does a great job at not showing her emotions.
Kylee.
But yes, Kylie. But I know I know she struggles. But she tries to be strong. She tries to be strong for me. And she gets that from her mother.
Does she have her mother's smile?
You know what? It's sad. Kylie, very, she'll smile sometimes. She'll smile when she's at school with her friends. But you could tell I mean, she's not an unhappy kid, but she
Right.
just has
I'm
just
sure
like
she's guarded.
very, because she's seen a lot.
Yeah.
But she has a really soft voice like her mom, a really soft voice. But she just she thinks she has to be strong for me. And that's something that she's learned, and I've let her know that you don't have to be strong.
Yeah.
And that's what Ky taught her. But
it's okay for her to be a kid. She's a kid.
But she plays sports. I mean, she plays sports, and I've had her receiving mental health since the second week her mom was killed. And mental health is very important.
It is. It is. It's extremely important.
Very. But no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I just want, it's challenging. It's very challenging for her. And people don't realize when this happens to these children. And the people who are out here doing this, they don't know what they're doing to these kids. They don't.
Yeah. What about Kylie reminds you the most about her mother? What traits does she have that she got directly from her mama? Like when you looking at your granddaughter, it's like you almost see Ky.
Them bad eyes. Her and her eyes, no. Her I would say her voice, her walk. And I look at her demeanor sometimes. It's some of the things Ky has passed down to her, and I just look, I'm like, oh my God, I can see Ky in her sometimes. And sometimes when she does smile, I look and I'm like, oh my God. Some days I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks like Ky. But but her voice, oh my God. I'm like, that's soft. Like literally, it's like, can you speak up? What'd you say? Like that. I'm like, why did you pass that down to her? Like, just like, no, no, no. I'm like, what? Like, girl. But her smile, like, and Yeah, her smile. Yeah, sometimes when I can see, I can see it. I can see it when she does smile. I can see it in her, and in her eyes. I can see it in her. Yeah,
Okay, okay. Is there anything
yeah.
else you want to say about the foundation for now? Because I'm going to ask you later on about the event you guys had, but that's towards the end. But is
Okay.
there anything else for right now you want to say about the foundation?
We want to also be able to help children with help children that are dealing with the trauma from their parents, most of all. You know, we want to be able to do camping trips with them, because I know that oftentimes they're burdened with not being able to provide, things in the summertime. So those are things that we want to do with, especially for children whose parents have been taken. So we want to be able to take them on a summer, like maybe like a 2-day retreat.
Mhm.
And so we're going to be partnering with some other organizations. And
Okay.
so we've been in talks with them. And so that's, providing supportive services for
Right.
youth.
Right. Right. You know,
Yeah.
there's a campground in Santa Monica in the mountains up there. There's some campgrounds, I believe. Did you know that?
Mm-mm, I didn't know that.
It is camping in the Santa Monica Mountains, Circle X Ranch Group. Campground is the only campground the National Park Service operates in the Santa Monica Mountains.
Okay. I wonder if that's the same one that Tamiko, because there's somebody else I know, but she's out of LA. And so that's why I said I want to do something for our area and another area. Tamiko
Mhm.
is out of LA. She
Mhm.
has one.
Mhm. Our goal is to host inclusive events where people can find and offer support. Families and friends can come together to build new associations that may benefit their healing process, and those providing support can find fulfillment in helping others. We aim to assist families impacted by gun violence with our mentoring and supportive services and to promote healing within our communities.
And not just our community, and that's another thing. And you'll be able to see that I posted also on my Facebook and Instagram today. So I'm really big on collaboration. We're not just bound to Pasadena. So when I say community, I'm not just bound to Pasadena, because I don't believe that trauma or gun violence just happens in our community.
No.
A lot of organizations, they're focused on just the area that they're in.
Geographically wise.
Yeah, I collaborate with other organizations out of the area. And so that's one thing that I'm really big on. So we'll be doing things with other organizations, especially in areas where there are no services. We know
Services.
LA has a lot of services.
Right.
And so we're gonna be collaborating out of the area, because Canoga Park, Van Nuys, San Bernardino doesn't have a lot of services, and
San Bernardino doesn't?
they don't have a lot of services out there
With
that
all of that,
offer,
with with
huh?
with all of that, with all that gun violence out there, they don't?
And there's a lot. Yes, there's a lot of gun violence out there. But
Wow.
Van Nuys and, yeah,
Wow. So
Canoga Park, yes.
I'm familiar with LaWanda Hawkins.
Oh, LaWanda Hawkins. I work, yep,
What's the name of her
I'm very close
organization?
with her.
What's the name of her?
Justice for Murdered Children.
And it's been about what, 15
Justice
years?
for Murdered Children.
About 15 years or 2 decades
It's
she's
been a
had?
while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yes.
She
It's been a
created,
while since our son Reggie.
right. I'm familiar with her. I've heard about her organization.
I've been living in Los Angeles since 1987. I moved from Illinois to give my son, we thought, a better life. Reginald gets murdered in December of 1995. He had been shot. Gun violence is out of control right now. I see us going in the direction of the 90s.
This past May, after a tense court hearing, you shared a heartfelt post on Instagram calling for accountability. Earlier, you were talking about gun violence and how the people, the shooters, are not aware of how it's impacting, or the fallout from the pain that they are creating that does not go away. As much as we would like to think that it does and say that it does, it is a pain. And it's even a pain for people who are still living, who've been victims of gun violence. So let me start over. You mentioned earlier about the people who are creating the violence and how it impacts the community and how they're not aware of it. This past May, after a tense court hearing, you shared a heartfelt post on Instagram calling for accountability and unity, urging the community to address the cycle of violence and the deeper societal issues that perpetrated. Wow.
That's a trigger for you.
I would be crying. What emotions were running through you at that moment?
Anger, hurt. It was so many, because I just feel like nobody was held accountable. Everybody got off. So
back to your post. Well, what you said everybody got off. What you said, anger, you mentioned anger. What else did you mention?
disappointment, hurt.
Disappointment, hurt. So you made a lengthy Instagram post.
I sure did. I was pissed as hell. I was so let me go back. So with grief, and I mean anybody knows when, especially when they've been impacted by any type of there's a whole lot of emotions.
Right.
And at that time,
uncomfortable emotions.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just like nobody was held accountable. I felt like even their family members, it just felt like, okay, we don't care. They didn't do it. We get to write them. We get to talk to them. Who cares? And it's like, it's a slap in the face. This is a life. But when are you even going to be a tad bit remorseful? Like,
and I have it. It's three paragraphs. It's not that long. I don't know if you have it in front of you. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it? Would you like to read it?
I don't even have it. I don't even know where it's at on my Instagram.
Okay. Do you want me to tell? Ooh, wait. Did I get this off of your?
You did. I just probably.
I got this out of an article. This was in an article.
West Side. Oh, on the West Side Current.
You have your phone in front of you? PSA, I bind up every generational curse over our family. So West Side Current News.
Oh, I remember that one, because I can tell you, because the mom was in court. She was sitting there. She was looking at us like we was crazy. She was mumbling under her breath, bitch. it was just a hot mess.
The mom
Like,
was the mom was combative.
yeah, it was crazy. And I can tell you the whole time through the whole court, since court has started, like I was super just, saying I forgive and just being a person that I didn't even recognize.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know I could even be that person. And that's why I was saying, like, I bind up all of that, because the old Cortland would have been like,
Meet me outside.
yeah. But it's like, for what is not going to bring my daughter back? And that's why, and that's why I did say that, because all that stuff is generational. If you would have been in court and heard um all of his different prior convictions and things from as a juvenile and so forth. And that's when I say generational. I was binding up generational curses and different things like that. I was trying to break those things off of him.
Pull it up. My cousin had got shot several times in Altadena, and I had went to court with her when she testified in 2009, and the suspect, the person's family was there, and they were combative and they were disrespectful. And I didn't experience that when I testified against this person, because nobody showed up for him, which was great. But the fact that you said that, that adds a whole nother layer to things. So because our audience won't know what was said yet, I just emailed it to you.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Want you to pull it up. So want you to start at where it says PSA. If you scroll down to the link somewhere.
Oh, wow. And this video is here. Ooh. Ooh. My chest. I didn't see this.
Cortlyn, are you okay with reading it, or would you like me to?
I'm okay. This video is here. I didn't. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. I bind up every generational curse over every family. I pray that we start holding one another accountable and stop condoning our children's BS. Now, when I said that, and I'll go into that, but I'll tell you why. We should be trying to save our children and other folks' children. Instead, we are promoting violence and trying to cause black on black and brown on brown, not to mention each other against each other. Oh, my chest. Essentially,
Cortlyn, do you want,
huh?
drink some water?
I'm okay. Essentially, when our ancestors fought for our freedom, and here it is, we still aren't free because because we still aren't free because you allow hatred to turn you against your brothers and sisters. Wake up, y'all, please. The families of murder victims are tired of getting those phone calls and having to either sit through a trial with the defendants' families and friends, acting as if the victims did something wrong, when in fact our loved ones are the ones that was taken and will never return home. What about those families that never get the opportunity and are left not knowing who the hell did that to their loved ones? I just think that until you have to walk in our shoes, you will never know. I pray that people will wake up and realize that we got to do better. Stop being your children's friends and damn it, be their parents. Never wish harm on another person because what you will for someone else, you are willing for yourselves. Check the good book. I just worded it so you can understand. Wake up.
And you posted that when? When would that have been?
Um, When was this? Oh, May 28th. May
Of this,
24th. Yeah.
this year?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
this year.
Yeah.
The courtroom was tense as the jury read the not guilty verdicts for both first-degree and second-degree murder charges. Despite being acquitted of murder, the jury found Codwell guilty of conspiracy to commit assault with a firearm. After the verdict was read, the mother of the victim, Cortlyn Bridges, had a conversation with the mother of the suspect outside the courthouse. Before the verdict, Bridges stated that throughout the trial, she had shown Codwell's mother respect, saying, "As women, we should always fix one another's crowns and lift each other up, no matter what the situation or circumstances are." Now, earlier you just said that she was being disrespectful. Most in your position would not have responded with the same level of respect and grace towards those involved or the party involved. How are you able to treat someone else with respect and kindness and decency when it's not being returned or shown to you? Where do you what motivates you to act in that manner?
Because I have to raise my granddaughter and I want to be able to return back home to her. I have to be an example for Kamryn. I have to be example for Kylee. And I know that it won't bring Ky back. And it's easier to be the bigger person because at the end of the day, God gonna take care of them. And on the other side of this, I would not want to walk in their shoes.
When I read this statement, as women, we should always fix one another's crowns and lift each other up no matter what the situation or circumstances are. That's turning the cheek. And my mother is like that. So earlier you said she's mean. My mother's often turned the cheek. So with you, and I don't know you, but just reading that about you, I most in your position, 99% are not going to respond in the manner that you would respond. You have no foul words. I mean, for me, I think that's absolutely beautiful. I think that's beautiful. And I can only imagine how that has freed you up from a lot of obviously negative energy. I'm in the Bronx and there's violence interrupters after, violent crime, things have happened. They go out in the community trying to make sure nothing else pops off or whatever. The world would be a much different place if there were more people like Cortlyn Bridges,
I was wrong.
You said what?
I ain't gonna say all that. Like I'm not.
No.
And
I'm gonna give you that credit, Cortlyn. I'm gonna give you that credit. You get that. No. That's
And you know
that.
what? I cry, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I cry because I feel like I'm a punk because I'm like,
Mm,
you
yeah.
like, I'm like, what? Like, but then
I,
I'm
not
like,
used to not used to hearing a woman describe herself as a punk, but
and I'm like you just like in so many ways, like I feel violated, you know, um, you know, to tell people you forgive them and they, God,
we're moving in the right direction where we're supposed to be at. because we're speaking about forgiveness now.
Yeah.
We hear a lot, people, I forgive them, I don't forgive them, or, forgiveness heals, it helps. You have forgiven everyone involved in Ky's murder, correct?
Yes, I have. I have.
And you told me Mama Bear don't play about hers. I might forgive, but I
won't never forget.
I don't forget.
No, I'll never forget. No, I'll never forget.
And we've been touching on it about why forgiveness is important. We've touched on it. We've been touching on it. It obviously helps with the healing process. It really is the best thing for a person who's been violated or a victim of crime to do. It took me, I would say it probably almost took me 2 decades. Not so much to forgive, but to understand that it makes you miserable. It makes you miserable. There's no way. They call it post-traumatic stress disorder, mental health, bipolar, schizophrenic. There's a whole list of things that come along with holding on to pain, trauma from being violated, neglected, raped, assaulted, all that stuff under that umbrella. You can't tell somebody how to forgive. You can't tell them when to forgive. You can nudge them. You can mention it. But the person, the victim or the victim's family, that's a matter of the heart. And it's a personal matter, and some people probably don't know how to forgive, and I don't know what I would say to somebody. I don't know if I would have those words. I don't know what I would say, I pray that Kylee grows up to continue to allow forgiveness to be her portion. Kylee has been through so much, yet she still continues to push through.
Yes, she does. And I think my biggest fear, and I'm gonna be honest, because she holds so much in, but she does say she forgives, but at the end of the day, she doesn't show emotion a lot. But I can tell when it gets to her. I just pray that she doesn't feel like she has to stay strong for me.
You mentioned that earlier. And you remind her of that often?
Yep, I do. I do.
Because it really is a burden that she shouldn't have to carry.
Yep, she's told her therapist that she has to make sure her Nana's okay.
Which is understand. I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, she like, that little girl is like, she's man, like that baby has she's been through so much. So much.
Holy Spirit, please continue to show Kylee that even though her winds blow, she is safe in his arms. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for the peace.
That baby has been through so much. Her mother loved her so much. Ky Ky loved Kylie so much. Ky did everything she could to protect her, to make sure that baby she gave that girl the world. Kylie, do you have anything you want to say today?
Yeah.
Do you forgive them?
Yes.
And why do you forgive them?
Because bringing hate towards them is not going to make a difference to bring my mom back. And if I bring hate, the negativity is going to come back to me.
And what do you want to happen to them or for them?
Good things so they could change, so they don't kill other people's family members.
And if you had one wish or one thing that you could change, what would that be?
The world.
And what does the world need more of?
Love.
And how does it make you feel knowing that your mom won't ever be able to hug you and pat you on your back?
Sad.
But even in your sadness, you still manage to stand and trust God, right? Why do you trust God?
The prayer's not gonna come back whenever I want it to. God's have a timing and the right timing.
What about their families? They have, one of them has kids. What would you say to their kids?
I don't know.
You want their kids to grow up and be better than them?
Probably.
What would you say to the judge?
I don't know.
Do you think that your nanny is strong, that your Auntie Kamryn is strong for being your mom's voice?
Yeah.
And what's the one thing that you ask God to do for your nanny, for Kamryn?
To give her strength and touch her heart.
Amen.
Ky was not short for something else, was it?
Mm-mm.
It was just
Nope,
Ky.
it was Ky because I wanted to make sure she knew how to spell her name.
Can't get no simpler than that.
I kid you not, and that's why I named her that, so she wouldn't have no problem.
It was her idea to name Kylie. Did you tell her, or she did that on her own?
It's Kylie is Ky's name, and Kylie's dad's name is Lewis.
Oh, so that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
King and Kylie have two different dads.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, Kylie, I just really want her to, like.
Does she do any writing? Does she do any? How is she expressing her? You said she's quiet oftentimes, or you said she doesn't smile a lot?
Only when she's with her friends or whatever.
She's
But
different.
when
Does she do any? Does she keep a diary? Does she journal? Does she write?
we make her journal.
Mhm.
But basketball, she's a beast. Like
Okay.
when I tell you, that's what's gonna get her. That's paying her way through college. She's a beast. She flag football. She's out there, and them boys ain't got nothing on her. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
But
oh.
yeah, but basketball, she's really, really good. Really good.
Wait. She's not a mean girl like grandma, is she? Like grandma
No,
was.
no, she's not. No, she's not. She's
She's
not.
not fighting those boys, is she?
Nah, she's real. Nah, she's a sweetheart. She's a
She's a
sweetheart.
sweetheart. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But no, no, honestly, Kylie, I just really pray that, you know, she just stays focused and that God continues to keep his hand on her
Mhm.
and that her mom continues to guide her. Kai used to come to her and Kylie would see her. She's been in the house with us and walked past us before, and Kylie would be like, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, my mom was right there. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, she's right there. I said, oh, Kai, what are you doing? And then I say, where'd she go? She's like, oh, she went up there. So Kai would come and visit her. Yep. But she hasn't in a while.
She talks to her.
Um, she hasn't, but she would come and visit her. She would come here and she goes and visits her son. She would go and visit my grandson. It's pictures where you could see him playing with somebody and you can see. So
This is
yeah.
this is a first for me. I've known people who've lost people, but I've never had, obvious in-depth conversations like this. And
Yep, she's been her daughter has seen her.
I mean, I've heard stories of this happening,
Oh.
Yeah, to people.
Oh yeah. And just like on my book cover, the front of the book cover, there's this, you'll see this. So when Kai was killed, the next day, I'll tell you really quick, the next day we went to my aunt's who was really close with Kai, and we went to tell her. Kylie went down the stairs ahead of us. She walked down. She ran back. She said, I seen Angel. She had on a long white dress. She looked at me, she smiled, and she did this and had a halo, and it was her mommy. And so ever since then, I always knew my daughter was at peace and was in heaven.
You have the book near you or no?
Yep, hold on. So this is,
Those are her hands?
those are Kylie's hands.
Okay.
And then the back is my grandson's hands. And the butterfly is his mommy's. It symbolizes his mom in his hands. So it's a piece of both of her children on the book. So
that is a beautiful expression of love. Did they well, the King is obviously too little, but did Kylie contribute any stories into the book, which we're going to get into later, but I got to ask you that now. Did she contribute anything?
You just so slick, aren't you?
I mean, I'm a writer, I mean, but I mean, I had to ask that. Well, I'll bring that up again.
Okay,
later.
look, I'll tell you a little bit. There's in there you'll see something.
So Isaiah Eugene Caldwell was primarily, am I using the right words? He's primarily responsible for Kai's death, correct?
So he was found not guilty. So according to the people, he was not found guilty. So we cannot say he was a person that did it. But originally, he was accused of being the shooter, if you follow me.
Right.
So I have to be very careful.
Okay.
So originally there were 3 people that were arrested: D.R.E. Jones, Jonathan Singh, and Isaiah Caldwell Jr. And I'll send you the letter that was when they were all arrested, that was sent out by
Gascon.
that man, yeah,
Yeah,
him.
I remember that. I remember seeing it. So
So because he was not convicted of it, I can't say that he was the person who did it because he wasn't convicted, because
right.
otherwise I could be held liable for defamation of character and all this other stuff. So now I have to, I can't, I can just say he was,
A part of
yes,
the group. So
yes,
what so nobody was connected to being the shooter.
correct.
Okay, okay. I understand.
All, they all played a part in,
They were there that day. They were there, they were there at the beach. They were the primary suspects.
yes.
That's correct. Okay. On January the 18th, Isaiah Eugene Codwell's female cousin, Serenity Zene Gershon, she was 30 years old. She was from Venice Beach. She drove her car in a Harbor Gateway neighborhood, and she was shot and killed by a male.
Mm.
Isaiah has also lost several other people close to him and in his community, each under different circumstances. Do you think karma played a role in Isaiah Codwell losing his loved ones? Not for being responsible for Ky's death, but for being a part of the group that was there that day that ended in the situation that played out that day.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Because I mean, I don't know like the dates and all of, you know, all of that.
Situation and all that.
But
Because some people will be like, yeah, that's their karma. Da-da-da. Here you are again. Here you are again. The decency that you show, like seriously, like the you know, the decency that you show is very, very, yeah.
the old Cortlyn, whoo, she was something else.
I mean, because people they talk about, oh, you know, karma will get you, you know, da-da-da, may not happen to
And
you, but a family member or something.
yep.
And one reason why I said a situation that I was in, this individual person, he ended up losing his brother to gun violence not long after what happened to us. His brother's trying to rob a place, and he, you know, told me that from his mouth, and it's verified. I was like, wow.
And karma, and you know what? And I'm gonna be 100% with you. And I've written things on social media when I say, you know, you know, about how, I guess, the new lingo or whatever about spinning the block. You know how they use that word now? They say like, oh, you better hope the block is something. These kids, I forgot what it is, but it's a term instead of now saying karma, but they say like spinning the block, meaning it can come back to you, basically like karma or something like that. But
Boomerang, I get it.
you
Okay.
know, but I mean, people don't realize like things can happen, and it's true. You know, it doesn't come back the way you give it out. And I've said in court many times, you know, I pray that nobody has to stand on the other side of this where I'm at and having to go through what I'm dealing with. I don't wish this on my worst enemy,
Right.
because I didn't just lose. Our whole community loses. My family didn't just lose. What about people who were attached to Ky? Or what about people who weren't attached? Now you got people that are on that boardwalk. You got businesses who now are worried about whether, oh, well, what if we seen something and you guys in the gangs, you know, think we're gonna say something. It's a
Okay.
domino effect.
It is.
So not just the victims' families lose, a community loses. What about people who were on that boardwalk that day? It is not just the victims' families. It's a whole community.
We play by their rules, but when we stay in our hood, they gotta play by our rules.
Amen.
And we serve a God that's all powerful. We serve a God that if we call down fire, he'll loose fire. We control what energy is released right here in this atmosphere. It's too many of us out here. We too strong right here. If each one of us is signed a legion of angels, how many angels is representing us out here right now? She died from some senseless BS. Some energy that
Wasn't her.
is trying to get us riled up right now. It wasn't her and it ain't us. If we come out here and we come with the same energy that met her out here in these streets, we ain't no better. We came out here to be light. We came out here to represent for our family because she didn't get down like that. That's not who she was. She loved. Ain't none of us perfect. We all fall short. But at the end of the day, she had a big heart and she was out here trying to enjoy herself. And she lost her life to some senseless BS.
I mean, you know, I mentioned earlier I was there. I've heard about violence at Venice Beach since the 80s. They used to be out there on the horses. Like, you know, them pictures, you see them on the horse, you see, it wasn't riding, but it would be, they'd be out there fighting, you know. But I remember being at Venice Beach one time in July, I think, it was the summer of 2011, I believe, and there was a shooting. And I think there was a black male, I think he got shot in the head. I'm not sure, I didn't see it, but I remember hearing about it.
Mm.
That was the only time I had ever really like heard something going back to then. But when I was out there that day and learned about the situation, that was the first time that I had actually like seen the aftermath of something like that at Venice Beach.
Mm.
Of course, now it's so much stuff happening out there, and it's understandable the all the stuff that's going on. But you know, it's a beach, it's a peaceful place. Well, yeah, I would say peaceful. You know, people go out there to enjoy themselves, to watch the sunset. You know, to make out on the beach, get some pizza, some lemonade, hot dog on a stick, rollerblading. And it's a very, very public place. You know, it definitely it leaves an impact on the people are impacted by it.
Mhm.
They are. They are. Moving on to the film, Put the Guns Down, A Worldwide Epidemic is a documentary by Platinum City Gold and West Entertainment Films, directed by Terry Carney, Eric Herbert, and produced by Ice-T and Ernest Churchill. That's correct. The film explores gun violence in South Central LA through personal stories and expert insights. The film features you discussing your daughter, Ky Alicia Thomas, and the need to stop violence and senseless killings. How did you become involved with the project?
I was in September of 2021. I was at an event and happened to meet Terry and his crew. And then from there, I stayed in touch, and it was history from there.
It's history from there.
Yes.
A candid, gritty insider's look at the crisis situation. Director Terry Carney's journey from gang life to filmmaking provides Carney with unprecedented access and never before seen interviews not usually granted to filmmakers or documentarians. Street violence victims and their families contribute their heart-wrenching personal stories and perspectives, as do Spice One, Chili Chill, Cocaine, Big LV Gangsters in Paradise, DJ Quick Jr., Alonzo Williams, Compton's Most Wanted, The Chill, LaWanda Hawkins, who we mentioned earlier, Coach Carnell Word, and Akila Sherrills.
Yes.
Nobody can stop this war but us.
Overnight, 3 people are dead after a shooting in a Torrance, California
deadly
bowling
shooting
alley.
in Long Beach.
More than 50 people have been shot in the past 7 days.
an epidemic, for God's sake, and it has to stop.
I'm happy to be alongside my friend and partner, Terry Carner, as the film is very much needed for the world to see and save our kids. Just this past weekend, multiple children died in this country. Ice-T, producer. And the film is narrated by him.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Dude, how is it's not even done. When I was 13, I seen my cousin get smoked right in front of me. Basically, everybody thought it was fireworks. We looked down the street, flames this long coming out of barrels.
There was a kid that was bullying me, talking shit. I got my cousin's 45, and I had every intention of when he got off the bus walking down to that park and murdering him.
I was 12 years old. I was about to be 13, and it was already understood in my brain that I wasn't gonna never be nowhere without a gun again.
Guns are an evolved tool that allow people to do more proficiently what we've been doing since the beginning of time.
And what happens is this. You're always gonna hear that mother, hear that family howl, and you'll never forget that.
It's an amazing film. It's been in, it's won several different film festivals. It's not out yet. And then I think it's May or March of next year. We're supposed to go to Cannes.
Really? Oh, wow. That's
in one of the film festivals, one of the big film festivals.
right. Oh, wow. That's really great. Some of the honors are Black August Film Festival's Best Feature Documentary, San Diego Movie Awards Best Director Documentary Feature, Marina Del Rey Film Festival Best Editing Feature Documentary, International Independent Film Awards Platinum winner, Remember the Future World Film Festival in Cannes Best Cause-Driven Film, Impact Docs Awards Award of Merit Special Mention Documentary Feature, Religious Faith International Film Festival Official Selection.
Yes, it's a movement, and it's a must. It's a must see. Once it's out, people need to write to Netflix and Hulu, all of those different platforms, letting them know to try to get it. So it's an amazing film.
All you young kids out here, young men, would y'all please put the guns down? Put the guns down.
There's nothing I can tell a mother. Me being a mother losing my son, I can't tell myself nothing.
All that rah-rah in the street means nothing when your child dies alone.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are we under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
The history of unarming black people or making it illegal for black people to have weapons has always been there throughout our history here, making us defenseless, economically and politically defenseless.
Persons wishing to purchase ammunition first acquire a permit, then pass an extensive background check.
I wanted to create a documentary that was relatable, emotionally deep, and that explored real life people and examined real life issues. I am proud to say we have done that here with Put the Guns Down, A World Epidemic. I know people are going to talk about this film, and with talk, discussion, and awareness comes change. This is a rally cry to put the guns down and forge a new path. Director Terry Carner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned some of the honors that it has received, which is 7. Did you expect the film to receive such widespread recognition so quickly?
Oh, of course. And I'm sure any other film festivals that it's already been entered into, I'm sure it's going to be some more, because it's very impactful. And like I said, it's anybody who sees it, they'll definitely walk away with something. was something. Everybody, it's relatable. Anybody who sees it, they can definitely relate to it in some area of their life. It touches on so many different areas.
Justified here representing with Platinum City Golden West and the movie The World Epidemic. It's a must that you bring this movie to your city, to your school, to your college, to your community, so we can spread this message about putting the guns down and about fathers stepping up to take back their communities. Together, Fathers in Hip Hop, Platinum City Golden West, we coming for our community, we taking it back by force, any means necessary. Ain't no hood like fatherhood. Bang!
Terry Kearney, what a great job, as always. It's a tearjerker. Put the guns down. I mean, he's captured every aspect from violence, the mental health side, just filled with so many gems, so much information. Let's go out there and let's support this movie and this film.
Man, I just got finished watching Put the Guns Down, Worldwide Epidemic, and it's life-changing. I got a chance to kind of feel the raw emotion of the community and the families and just the individuals that's involved in this whole gang violence and mental health alert that we got going on. And I think this is going to be used to help engage us and cause us to rally as a community to come up with some ways of initiatives and some antidotes to help stir and help quell this whole violent and mental health issues that we're faced with today in our society.
What are your hopes for the film, Cortlyn?
That it can, bring change. I'm hoping the White House is able to do something with it to where it's able to get it, in these schools, colleges, all over, and it becomes, something that is able to help, be a blueprint for, a lot of these even different organizations to help them, be able to bring about change, because a change is needed. It's so easy for people to be able to, tell somebody, and it's not the guns, it's the people. We need more awareness. Anybody can go and get a gun.
Right. Right. Quicker than they can get books from libraries, often the case.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
It's become such a issue and a problem that the White House last year created the White House Office gun prevention something. But the White House now has you would have think they would have been had that, like,
that's right.
Like seriously, like y'all got all these other departments, Homeland, y'all got all these other departments, Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture.
Yep, they need one for the gun. Yep.
Should have had this decades.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
Yep.
They goes to show you just how far behind
that's right.
this country is.
That's right.
That's period.
That's right.
Yeah.
We can't just be in the business of solving yesterday's crime. We have to be in the business of solving tomorrow's public health crisis.
Over the last year, our office was able to help accelerate the implementation of the most transformative bill on gun violence. A major step of this bill was clarifying what it means to be engaged in the business of selling firearms. We were also able to support and work with the Department of Justice on cracking down on gun trafficking. But the resources can't be overlooked. As part of this implementation effort, we were able to help move funding for youth mental health.
We've been running the first ever gun violence emergency response system so that we can lean in when communities suffer mass shootings, when there's a concentration in community violence, to make sure that they have the resources they need, not just to heal those who've been injured, but to help a community recover, a school reopen, a small business get a loan, that when the cameras leave, we've left a community with the resources it needs to rebuild and recover.
I just commend the vision of President Biden and the leadership of Vice President Harris for really turning a corner. And the fact that this White House can help usher in really a new era in this country where the issue of gun violence doesn't have to be a norm for every family and every community in a way that it has been for so long is something I'm just so proud to be a part of.
Jerusalem,